Hello, Vivaldi A friends. This is week 5 now. Pretty far. We're almost there. So, today we will be covering two things. In our technique video, we'll be working on our two potential song choices, as well as just how to practice, and just like Mr. Gay was focusing on last week, note reading. Very important. We need to make sure we know we're reading both fingerings and note names. So that'll be our technique video. And in this warm-up video, we're going to be working on our scales. There are two of them. D major, G major. Let's make sure we have everything ready as we're getting our instruments out. That means, firstly, I actually always like to wash my hands, because make sure your hands are clean before you touch your instrument, because it's important to keep your instrument clean too. Especially, you don't want to get sick either. So keep those instruments clean. Good clean hands. Get our bows out. My bow's already tightened. See, there's that curve. Always want the curve. Make sure you have your sponge or shoulder rest. Make sure, obviously, your instrument will be flat on the floor when you open it up. Set up that good playing position. I know that we're working a lot on fixing our wrists with our bow hands. And I saw we've been doing a great job with keeping a good high wrist. My wrist is at one level and my O is at a different level. So keeping both of those together. So I'm going to start with a D major scale. You guys can just play with me. We're going to do 4 quarter notes for each note of the scale. So it'll sound like this. I'll just start it off, a little preface. D. Now E. That's the pattern we're going to be going with. So each of those notes gets one beat. So we're thinking if we had 4 beats in a measure, 1 measure for each note of the scale. We'll play each 4 times. Let's go. Set up a good hand. See this? They're totally straight here. Relaxed. My fingers are ready over the string, so I only have to move them a little bit to place them down. My bow hand, I've shaken it out. And my other hand here, we're waiting. And I just plop it over. 2 fingers, covering up the frog. Pinky. Not going over the bow. Staying on my side. Not going over here. No. Staying right here. My pointer finger goes a little farther. And my thumb, rounded. There's a circle right there. That's always a good thing. And you can check that too. So, D major scale. Now we're actually doing it. 1, 2, ready. First is D. Now E, first finger. Make sure to use good lengths of bow. F sharp is the next note, second finger. Now third finger, G. Now open A. Now B. Now C sharp. Now D. Let's pause there. Check your bow hold. It's always good to do little segments and then check to make sure everything's the way it should be. So I'm not doing this. Keeping it here. My violin's at a good height. I have good posture. I'm standing tall, or if I'm sitting, my feet are flat on the floor. My back is either against the chair or I have a good straight back. It's good tall posture. It's really important to keep that instrument up high. So now we're going to start from the top of the scale. So that's 3 fingers down on the A string, which is the note D. Very important. Starting from there and going down. Third finger on A. Ready with me. Now down to C sharp. Now down to B. Now down to A. Stop your bow here. Change string. This elbow is going to get a little bit higher. My wrist is still here. And all my hand is going down. My hand is down. My hand is never like this. Going up to reach the bow. It's always coming down for the bow. Now we're switching strings down to the D string. So 1, 2, 3. Third finger, which is G. Ready with me. First finger is E. the first note we start on there, D, is the bottom, right below the bottom line of the staff. That's always an important one to note. It's always good to practice knowing where your open strings are. And if you're not sure, you can build your way up, because one higher than open D is first finger, 2, 3. And same thing on all your open strings. So figuring out where those open strings are is always a good landmark in terms of reading the notes. So let's add a rhythm. I'm not going to do pepperoni pizza. I know we love that one. I'm going to add a new one. And this one is Wish I Had a Motorcycle. Aren't motorcycles cool? But I actually don't have a motorcycle. So maybe I do wish I had a motorcycle. And the rhythm is just like the way you would say the phrase. Wish I had a motorcycle. So those are actually eighth notes compared to. That's the rhythm we just played before. And then Wish I Had a Motorcycle, we double each of those. Wish I had a motorcycle. So now we're working on shorter bows, because why? I think I know. It's mainly because our notes are shorter. So do we have to use as much bow? Doesn't really make sense. So we want to use less bow because these notes are shorter. Sort of makes sense. So now we're going to do that with our D major scale, which we just did on quarter notes. Now we're doing Wish I Had a Motorcycle, which is all eighth notes. 8 eighth notes per each of those notes. And I'll count us in. Make sure to check that bow hold. Making sure our wrist and our elbow are two different things. Our elbow is going to be high. Our wrist is going to be even higher than that. And our hand is relaxed and falling down. Because if we're reaching like this, ooh, that hurts. That's how you really stretch it out. And there's a lot of strain there. We want our right hand to be relaxed as we do this. So we want it falling down. This is Wish I Had a Motorcycle in our D major scale. So we're starting on open D. Check your left hand. 2 points of contact. Our thumb and right at this part of our finger. And then our fingers wrapped around. Good left hand wrist. Right hand wrist falling down. Good bow hold. Wish I Had a Motorcycle. Ready, motorcycle. Here we go. Now first finger. Now second finger. Third finger. That's G. Now open A. Now first finger. B. Second finger is C sharp. Third finger is D. Maybe pause to check your technique. I'm going to keep going. Now we're going back down to C sharp. Now first finger. That's B. Now down to A. Now build up to 3 here. All 3 fingers should be down. Now second finger. We're just taking one finger away at a time now. Now first finger. Now down to open D. Motorcycle. Good. So I hope that we're getting this. Shorter bows, and we shouldn't be over here. We don't want to be at the tip. We want to be in our middle, probably staying away from all the way at the front, but we want to be using pretty much just middle half of the bow. That'll work out really well for us. So next thing we're going to do is our G major scale, which I know Mr. Gabe worked on a little bit last week, and we've actually gotten a few chances to do that since then. So our D major scale has 2 notes with sharps. You know what they are? F sharp and C sharp. In our G major scale, we only have 1. Do you know what it is? I know that it's F sharp. So, one thing that translates from these 2 scales from one to another is our finger pattern is exactly the same. We just have to move it over, lower 1 string. So in our D major scale, we start on the D string. Obviously, makes sense. For our G major scale, we started the D on the D major. We're going to start the G major on the G. So we're lowering it one string. And then our first finger is going to be on our tape, second finger on our tape, third finger on our tape. Open, 1, 2, 3. Same thing. We're going to do pepperoni pizza with that. You thought you could escape pepperoni pizza. You can never escape pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni pizza is here to stay. We're going to do our G major scale with pepperoni pizza. Then after, we're going to check for intonation. Because it might be a little bit different with this one. I don't know. Just to check. This is pepperoni pizza on G major. Ooh, fireworks. Ready, go, and. Pizza. Next note is A. Now it's B. Now C. Now up to D. Notice that my elbow was up here. Now it's a little bit lower. D. Here we go. Next is E. Now here's our F sharp, only sharp note. Pretty good so far, hopefully. One thing that I want to make sure we're thinking about is our bow is going to be moving parallel, in line, never going to intersect with our bridge. So that means your bow has to really, if I move, you really have to move your arm straight, almost out like this. And we did this more a while ago. But this is a lot closer to the motion than you would think. It feels weird, but that's the motion we're thinking of. Because if I moved my arm sideways, here's what happens. Instead of making a direct contact to the string, I'm sort of moving sideways. That doesn't really work. So making sure that we're really extending that arm out. This is why, actually, just by watching myself in this video, I can tell that I have a good bow arm because I'm watching a mirror of myself. A mirror is a great practice tool. And you can always just watch and see if your bow is parallel. Right now, I can tell it's parallel. Another trick is if you look out of the corner of your eye and you see the tip of your bow, I can see it right now. Yep, I'm parallel. If I have it over here, ooh, I can see that on the video. But then if I look, I can't see the tip of my bow at the corner of my eye. I see it. If I go over here, though, I can see way too much of it. I can also see in the mirror that that's not quite right. So let's pick back up. We're at the top of our G major scale, doing our pepperoni pizza rhythm. Ready? Pepperoni pizza starting third finger on G, on third finger on D, which is the note G. There it is. Ready now. Now down to F sharp. Now down to E. Now open D. Elbow higher. Third string. 3 fingers down on G. That's C. Ready, go. B. That second finger. And then 1 is A. Now open G. Cool. I hope you guys had a lot of success with this. This is definitely something that's important. And our G and D major will not be going away. A lot of the stuff you'll play is in one of those two keys. So these scales are really essential building blocks. And just as we saw in Lightly Row, as well as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you play little mini scales a lot in your music. So scales are really important, and even though they're a little bit boring, they show up in songs. So the more you practice them now, the easier it is to play these songs down the road. Also, just generally with our technique, staying relaxed. We don't want our shoulders up. We want our violin equal. Keeping that good bow hold. If our hand is reaching up, it's reaching. We don't want to reach. A reach means you're stretching. And here, we don't want to be stretching. We want to be relaxed. So make sure that hand is shaken out and your bow hold is in good control. So in our technique video, we'll be focusing on Lightly Row as well as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So I hope you'll watch that. And one of those two songs will be our concert choice. So see you then.